one final NFC game here before we I want to take a look at the odds makers, what they think of this playoffs, and then we'll go into the AFC after that.
All right, cool.
But our final game here, the 5-seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady back in the playoffs. The 4-seed is the Washington football team. And I think, Chris, here, the burning question for everyone in this game is Tom Brady, he's had some issues with pressure, right? In the past, maybe he's moving a little bit better now than he was earlier in the year. You said that with Paul on Monday. But I think the burning question is, can the front four of Washington do enough to totally disrupt Tampa Bay and what they want to do on offense? If they can't do that, they have no chance, but maybe they can do that.
Well, I mean, it is all about them. I mean, I'm not going to try to, like, sugarcoat it or give you some other, like, oh, I came up with this angle when I was sitting in my office here. No, I mean, really, that's the big aspect of the football game. Brady, when comfortable and protected, and I think Dad would say the same, is they're down the field passing games as good as anybody in the sport right now. It's unbelievable. And they have found the way to the play actions, the things you heard me say all year. Keep tight ends in the block. Do that stuff. That'll make Tom comfortable, and he can still throw it. I would bet that, no, they can't ruin this game. It's a big, good front up front by them, and I think Bruce Arians and Leftwich are very aware of we got to protect Brady and keep him clean, even if that means one less guy out on a route downfield. At least that's my thought. What do you think, Dad?
Oh, well, yeah, that's kind of always my thought all year long. When I saw him at times go the two tight end route, block, chip, do whatever, Tom Brady waits, hitches, gets room to do all that and throws. He's throwing the ball. He throws it great. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
And, I don't even hear anybody anymore, the guys, the Tom Brady haters on TV going, well, I can really see a difference. His arm is not the same. Really? I don't think so. His arm maybe is as strong as it's ever been.
Definitely.
That's for real.
No doubt.
I mean, he's striping it. And, of course, he's going, wow, throwing down in Tampa is a hell of a lot easier than throwing a football up in New England, that's for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, if he gets time, even though the Washington front four, what it is, I will say this, too. Jack Del Rio has done a really good job. The back seven, I think they're extremely coordinated, know what they're doing.
Right.
They started the year out as a blitzing team and, just really kind of going at it. Because I remember the first couple games going, wow, Jack Del Rio, he's not the head coach. He's not worried. Let's go get him.
Right.
But they've turned into let's rush four, let's get the seven, find the combinations. They pass guys off well. I've really been impressed with that. So it tells me they're really well coached, smart. The corners are okay.
Yeah.
Well, they got Ronald Darby and Fuller at the corner. They're both solid, NFL corners.
Yeah.
So that helps them. But I don't think that front four is going to be just my first thought. I don't think the front four of the Washington football team is going to have the impact on the game that everybody thinks they can have.
Right.
That would be my first thought.
Yeah, because, a little bit like what Dad said about the Saints, in their O-line, hey, the Bucs O-line's big.
Yep.
I mean, it's big.
Huge.
Those two tackles are gigantic. They got a good guard in the middle and Ali Marpet. The other guard, I'm blanking on his damn name right off the top of my head right now. But, yeah, to Dad's point, I just would be shocked. As awesome and as highly regarded as that defensive line is, I don't see them being enough of a force to where I go, oh, they're going to dominate the game and this could be close because of that. I don't know. But I also feel like, something like that has to happen if they want to even win the game or flirt with the win. The defense is going to have to create a turnover, short field, something of that nature.
I mean, Tom Brady has been
and the other thing I'm looking for, I'm sorry, Ahmed, the other thing I'm looking for, they've already said it, it wouldn't shock me, Washington is going to rotate quarterbacks. Heineke might end up playing more than Alex Smith because you're going to have to move in this game.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to. The rush is going to get there, whatever, and you need to move. And not that Heineke is like the most mobile guy, but he's pretty quick, moves around well, throws the ball better than people think. I really think he's like a much better version, not much, he's a better version of John Wolford.
Yeah.
And, got a better arm, can fire down the field. When he came in a couple of weeks ago, shoot, who was that against? I can't remember.
That was the Carolina game?
Was it Carolina in Washington?
I think it was Carolina and Washington, yes.
Well, when he came in, he played really, really well.
Right.
And made good decisions, threw the ball down the field, just whatever. And, you know, that was the other night. If you were rooting for Washington, you're just going, how are we going to win this game? Because you could tell two things. Alex Smith was having or couldn't move, and, of course, that was affecting his arm even more.
Right.
So he wasn't really a threat to throw it down the field to make a big play.
No.
And, yeah, so.
Well, so, Dad, like with that, like right there, everything you just said, and I talked about this a little with Florio this morning, like, then why? Rotate why? Just start Heineke. Well, that to me is where
well, you know, I'm not sure they won't.
Yeah,
Christopher.
right.
You know, I mean, I'm not sure they won't, because I think they had to sit there and watch that game against Philadelphia and just go, and I watched it, and listen, this is, I mean this from my heart.
I said this morning. Yeah, go ahead, say it.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
No, go ahead.
This morning.
Yeah.
I want Alex Smith to quit.
I see. Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm watching the game going, oh my gosh, and you know, if he got hit or anything, they show the leg and he's got the brace or whatever's on.
Right.
It's like we've all turned into the mother watching in the stands.
That's what it is. I sit there every play and I literally
football.
watch him sometimes and just go, get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let him hit you there.
Well, I think we have a chart of what he did last game, and 28 of his 32 attempts were under 10 yards, and they just can't do that and win against this Tampa Bay.
There's no way.
You know, I'd like to know how many of them were under 5 yards. I mean,
I'm looking at the chart right now. It's the majority of them, except for maybe about 4 or 5 of them. Yeah. So, you know, and Dad, you made the point last week on the pod, and you've said it to me on the phone a few times recently. Like, you know, where it bothers me, and Dad just brought it up, when you're not feeling normal and now you're protecting yourself, you're not going to make the right decisions. You're going to leave plays on the field because he's worried about self-preservation. Oh, wait. Oh, there might be a guy open downfield. I'm not going to wait. Get it out of my hand short. Let's just move the ball that way. Okay, I didn't get hit or do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I would also worry about with them going forward. They're going to need plays in the pass game. They are going to have to. You know, first off, Tampa's going to play like, no way are we going to let you win to run the ball and beat us that way. That's something they're going to stop because they're not going to believe in the pass game. Antonio Gibson is nowhere near 100%. If you watch Sunday night, his foot's not normal. It's turf toe. He can't run. It's going to have to be the pass game that makes a few plays if they want any dreams of winning the game.
Well, we said at the CBS studio, and the guys look at me, who is that? I said, it's Antonio Gibson. He's really fast. And they go, wow, you know, everybody's like, yeah, but you're right. He wasn't even close to the same guy when we watched him. And things like that do not heal in 1 week or whatever. So it's going to be tough. And we'll see how it goes. But I think we all have the same feeling that whatever, Washington plays tough. And the other thing is too, I always think this. Yes, they got a really good defensive front. How many times can you really rush the passer?
Yeah, that's right.
That's always a point to me. I see it with many teams. One that jumps out to me really quickly is the
Pittsburgh, the Colts. We've talked about it with both of them. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
There comes a time, if you throw it enough, you'll get rid of them. I think that's the Buffalo idea. Just keep throwing. They'll get tired.
Right.
Yeah.
It works.
And Tampa Bay was good at preventing sacks this year. They were only sacked on 3.5% of their percent of their pass attempts this year. That was second best to Pittsburgh this season.
Yeah.
So Tom Brady was able to get rid of it. Yeah, the Bucs, they're in the playoffs for the first time in 13 years with a guy who has got 30 playoff wins to his name. There's one way that I think Washington maybe could win this game. I did some digging.
Right.
And it's always we don't look at special teams enough, right? We talk about offense, we talk about defense.
Sure.
3 phases of football.
Right.
There was no team worse in football at covering kickoffs this season than Tampa Bay. Gave up more yards than any other team. So I'm saying you put in Terry McLaurin back on kickoffs. He's never done it in the NFL. He had one in college. I think it was a touchback.
Well, listen, high school. I mean, playoff football.
Football. You got no more games maybe after this one.
That could
be
happen.
Your best chance to get a big play.
Don't be shocked if you saw that. Like when I played in Tampa when we got in the playoffs, Joey Galloway returned the punts. He might not have returned them for 10 weeks in a row. He might not have returned them. But in that game, we were like, we're going to let Joey do it.
I'm saying do it. Might be your only chance, Washington.
Yeah. That's a great thing, and it's a great thought, Ahmed. But the question is, he might get many chances to return kickoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
That is a problem. If you're getting a kickoff, that means the other team did.
And what's even worse too is McLaurin's not even 100%, which is another issue. So that's what's scary. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go into the AFC in a little bit here, but first let's take a pause, take a step back, and look at the playoff odds here, because we've got them, our friends over at PointsBet Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of NBC Sports, has provided us with many odds, not just on the favorites to win the Super Bowls, but that's what we want to look at right now. The odds to win the NFL championship. Phil, you can't see this, but the top 4 reads like this, and I want to know if you agree with this order. They have the Chiefs as the most likely NFL champion. Number 2 is Green Bay. Number 3 is New Orleans. And then number 4 is Buffalo.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with those. Those are pretty standard and what you would think. I think I've always thought all year long, I've never really got off of this. I always thought Tampa would be an extreme threat to go to the Super Bowl. Just like, okay, they're there, not shocked at all. The other one, I'm really interested to see, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. I know who they've played lately. They're running up great points and all that, but they're healthy. They got all their big guys on the defensive front back, Calais Campbell, Wolf, Brandon Williams. That's pretty good. Yannick Ngakoue has actually become a little bit of a factor. You can see when he gets on the field what a difference he is compared to everybody else
no doubt
on the football team when it comes to rushing the passer.
Right.
And they just got it rolling on the offense. I even said this Sunday. Everybody's drawn up ways to do this and this. Baltimore just draws up more run plays.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And that's who they are. Run that damn thing. And then, Lamar, I don't care what your numbers are, because what we got to start doing, Lamar drops back to throw. What are his passing numbers, but what are his running numbers off a pass?
That's the big thing. There's no doubt.
We don't put that in there and we go, oh, he had a terrible day. Their passing game is terrible. Yes, their passing game is subpar in the way we look at things, but it's not the factor for them that it is for every. They can run off tackle probably easier and get an explosive play than it can if they drop back and try to find a pass to do it.
Definitely. I agree.
So that's what they made mistakes. They made a huge mistake last year against Tennessee. They panicked. It's a terrible word to say. I thought they panicked. Stay with what you do, you run. And, Tennessee's not the same defense they saw last year.
No,
It's
definitely
not near as good. Their defense, it's amazingly not very good.
Dad, you heard the top 4 there. We talked about that with, Kansas City, Green Bay, Buffalo, and New Orleans. Then it was Tampa at 5. Was it
Ravens?
Ravens at 6, and then Seahawks at 7.
Yep.
To me, that's like just real quick. Like if you had to talk about Tampa, Baltimore, and Seattle, just those 3. How would you power rank them right now? I mean, it sounds like obviously you'd have is Baltimore or Tampa. Who do you feel better about going in the playoffs?
Well, I think that I trust Tampa more just because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And I know what to expect, and they know how to come from behind. And it's Baltimore, very emotional team. They're streaky. When they get rolling, they go. So I would put Tampa just ahead of Baltimore.
Yeah.
And who was the third team?
Seattle,
they would definitely be my third team.
Right.
I feel like they're coming in under the radar.
Torture watching them play.
Yeah.
As good as they were in the beginning of the year. All right, what about the opposite end of the spectrum? The 3 teams at the bottom: Browns, Bears, Washington football team. I'm surprised the Browns are down there. Browns, Bears. Who's the least likely to win the Super Bowl? No one ever picks that.
Washington.
Washington is the worst, but the Browns are not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They've already conquered. They've done it. They're in the playoffs.
They made it. They've achieved it. They'll make their own trophy for this.
Can we let Baker Mayfield for 1 week just leave him alone and go, oh, can Baker do it? And oh, my God, here they are. And can Baker Mayfield carry the Browns? No, he can't carry them. They're missing players. The head coach is not going to be there. He has held his end of the bargain up and let it go. I mean, it's amazing. I understand why he's harshly judged because of a lot that went on last year. But, you know, the head coach he had last year had quite a bit to do with the dysfunction and the play of those players on the field.
Right.
But he's done it. When I think of the Cleveland Browns, I just go, can they win it? No. I don't think their defense is good enough to win playoff games one after another. And that would be my first thought when I think about them.
Yep, no doubt.
Here's the real question. From Machino76, this one goes to Chris. Here's the situation, he says. Someone puts you under duress and says you have to bet all of Big Phil's money, all of his money,
wow,
on one wild card game, and you have to agree to it, Phil. If you are correct, Chris, you take the winnings and you preserve your inheritance.
Who am I picking?
Which game? Yeah. Which this is unfair.
Taking care of that.
This is unfair, Chris, because you're not at that point yet.
No.
But just your initial thoughts on who are you most confident in this weekend?
I think it's our Saturday night football game here on NBC. It's the Tampa Bay matchup.
Yeah. 8-point line right now, so if you factor that in.
You know, rotating quarterbacks, not a very good offense to begin with.
Yeah.
Against, you know, a great pass rush and a solid defense. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I know it's a great front four, but damn, it's as good an offense as there is in the game right now with a quarterback who, like, thinks the playoffs are like a day at the beach with let me put my legs up. This is no big deal. He's not going to be flustered. So, yeah, the Bucs would be that team.
So, Phil, is that the game that you would risk Chris's inheritance on?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I would risk all of his $100.
Oh, you found out. That's good.
$100.
Now you can plan.
Now I know.
Put it away, and listen, it's growing with interest.
That's true. That's true. If you compound that, every year.
We're not talking about the spread. We're just talking about winning the game.
Right.
Well, sure. Yeah. I'm most confident in the Bucs winning because they're not even the biggest favorite. I think the Saints are the biggest favorite. But 10 points or something like that.
Are they 10-point favorites?
Yeah, 10-point favorites. Bucs are 8-point favorites. So they're not even the biggest favorite.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.